Hi everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of CamLogic's Tech Tuesday. My name is Rob Carver and I'm an applications engineer here at CamLogic. Tech Tuesday is our free weekly 30-minute tips and tricks webinar, and today's topic is Product Template Studio. But first, let's familiarize everyone with CamLogic. CamLogic has been in the CAD/CAM CAE space for over 35 years. The company was established 16 years ago, initially focused on CAM, servicing mainly the tool and die shops in the area. As the market has evolved, CamLogic has evolved, interestingly working our way backward from manufacturing to the conception of the idea or design. Because we started toward the end of the process and worked our way to the beginning, CamLogic has the fundamental knowledge of what has to be done to assure that each step of the process will result in a product that will actually work or fit into the next phase of development. CamLogic has chosen to represent software and tools that enable our customers to fulfill the full cycle of product development. We consider ourselves integrators and partners for our customers, not just resellers. CamLogic employs a three-legged stool strategy. We partner with Siemens, offering the complete integrated Siemens portfolio for design, manufacturing, analysis, and data storage and retrieval. We partner with 3D Systems for 3D printing and rapid prototyping, and Steinbeckler, white and blue light scanners, and Creaform for 3D scanning for inspection and quality. Now you've heard a bit about CamLogic, let's move on to today's topic. Product Template Studio. Last week we exported a tool assembly to the tool library for CAM purposes. This week, as a follow-up, I want to show how Product Template Studio can be used to make your tool assembly creation more of an automated process, saving you time in the long run by standardizing your model creation and sharing the model as a template. You'll be able to quickly and easily create families of parts. Today's focus is going to be on how to create a tool holder to use as a seed part for Product Template Studio, plan for Product Template Studio, PTS, and open PTS and create an interface. It's best to have a plan in mind when working in PTS. You should think about how to minimize the number of mouse clicks. I mean, that's the whole idea behind it, trying to automate things. So you got to think about how many mouse clicks is it going to take to do the job. A friend of mine, Josh Bonzetti, has a favorite saying, is the juice worth the squeeze? And that's how we have to look at it. If I put some upfront juice into my model, will it be worth the squeeze on the other end? And so let's see how this might work. I've got a Cat 50 taper here. And I did cheat a little bit. I went out and downloaded just the taper end of this, okay, and I created a linked body to use for my model, and then I went ahead and because I can use that linked body in some other applications for different types of tools. So in this case, we're gonna use like a Weldon style tool holder, okay. And my plan was to have really only a couple of variables that I'm going to have to change in Product Template Studio. So I don't want to go in and edit this outside diameter or this chamfer, you know, every time I want to make a new tool, okay. All I really care about is this ID and the length of my part, okay. So if I go in, you know, it's just a very simple, here's my link body for the taper, my extrude for the length of the part, okay. Now my counterbore hole, it's just that, it's just a counterbore hole, but let's go in here for a second and look at a couple of things, okay. Here's my diameter for my counterbore, but then I went in and created a formula, under my depth, because I also want to change. I want my depth to change accordingly to the bore. So my formula in this case, I just took P47, which is my diameter, and multiply it by 3. You know, 3 times the diameter ought to give me a good depth, and it seems to be working. So if I change my diameter, okay, my depth also changes. Okay, let's do that again. Here's 0.75. If I hit the enter sign, okay, see my depth changes. It went from 1.5 mils. It went from 1.5 inches to 2.5 inches based on my diameter. Okay, and likewise, I'm going to also control the outer diameter of my extrusion. Okay, so let's go in and take a look at that real quick. I'm going to edit the sketch, okay, and look at the formula for that. And again, it's based on P47, the diameter of my bore, okay. And I multiplied it by 2 and gave it a nice round. I'm going to add a 1/2 inch on the diameter. So, you know, just that kind of looked right. You could go and look at some different manufacturers and try to extrapolate some formula, but for our purposes here, this kind of looked right. Okay, so I'll finish that. So again, let's just watch this. If I go back in and change my edit with rollback, go back, let's say go back up to 3/4 of an inch, hit enter. You see that my outside diameter also changes, and I actually wanted my chamfer to change too, and so I put a formula in my chamfer distance. It's a 60-degree chamfer. Take a look at that formula, and that one I simply divided P47 by 3. Okay, and it changes it accordingly. It gives it a nice aesthetic look to it. All right. Now you could do other things here. You could add in a set screw for the whistle stop and all that sort of stuff. But it would all be, you could all control all of that through expressions. But the idea is, now that I've got that, yeah, I could leave this here and just control everything through my part navigator. But that's time consuming. I mean, it's taken me some time to get this done. So what I want to do is actually create now my product template studio, my template, so that I can create a whole series of these parts rather quickly. So I'm going to save this, save my part file. I'll go ahead and close it, because now I don't want this open, okay, while I go into Product Template Studio. So you're going to find Product Template Studio underneath your Start menu, and unfortunately, the way my monitor is set up, I can't really demonstrate how to get there, but I can tell you how to get there. You go to your Start menu, go to your Siemens directory, 8.5. In this case, I'm using 8.5, and it will be under All Programs, Siemens 8.5, and then you'll go down to NX Tools, and it will be there with the command prompt, Knowledge Fusion, Product Template Studio. There's a whole bunch of tools under the NX Tools icon. So that's where you would find it. I have it open here, so let me bring it up for you. Okay. So now what you want to do is, I want to open my template up. Okay, let me go up to the Cat 50. And this over here, this is just kind of a blank template, if you will, for the user, the block interface. This is your author workspace here. This is the information window down here. This will take just a few seconds. Okay, and you'll get a picture of this thing opens up. Okay, and over here you'll see my user interface. It's got this Cat 50 Weldon. This is the application. Okay, so this is the Dialog Explorer here. This is the Model Explorer. Shows you all the expressions that are in that model. This is the file menu for going out and extracting, opening up other files, and this is for the template elements. Okay, so we're going to have that. We're going to open this up, and you open it by clicking up here on this maximize button up here. Open this up, and just for grins, let's go over here to this comp label here. And you'll see down here the title, no UI present, and that matches this right here. Okay, we can also go in here and change the name of this. So I want Cat 50. I just want Cat 50 Weldon. Matter of fact, I want to get rid of the underscore. And this is just a title, so the underscores are not really necessary. Whoops, watch my typing here. Okay. Hit enter, and you see that it updates here immediately. Now, let's call it basic dimensions here. Okay. And there's a space here for to put a bitmap or any kind of other explanatory drawings that you might want to. I'm not going to, for time constraints, I'm not going to go bother creating a bitmap or anything of that sort. But here you see the basic dimensions. Okay, you see our tool holder up here. So now I'm just going to go to my Model Explorer, and I'm going to look for the two things that I want to control. And one is the length. Okay, so here's this. I'm just going to grab it right over here and drop it underneath this. And I don't know if you heard the little sound effect that you get when you do that, but you've got there's some sounds that happened with this thing. And here's our P47, so I'm going to grab that and put that underneath here. Okay, so now highlight this, and you'll see down here in our information window that label. So I'm going to relabel this. Not label, dummy. Length. Okay, this is going to be the length of my tool. Okay, and you've got some other options down here. Okay, you've got key in, list of choices, linear dimension, angular dimension. I'm going to leave it as a key in for the moment, just because that's the simplest, and it's about all I have time for. I'm going to go here now, and I'm going to make sure I have an NX update. So I'm going to update my model when I make the changes. Okay, and also on this one, I'm going to call this shank diameter, because it's shank of what's important is the shank of the tool. Okay, and again, I'm going to leave it as a key in dimension. Okay, And so if we look at our interface, we see our length, we see our shank diameter, okay. When I hit enter, you saw this update right here, okay. And so for the moment, I think that's all I really need. So if I've done everything correctly, I go up here and hit publish, and I get a nice little sound there. It's a nice pleasant little sound. It says that we've done things right. So now I'm going to go ahead and close this. And let me lower that. Okay. I'm going to go File, Open. I'm going to go back and reopen this part now. Okay. Now if I go into the Assembly Navigator, now I have and I probably should have done this earlier. One way to tell whether or not you've got a template dialog or a product template dialog in your part is if you right mouse click on the part, you'll get this option here, Edit Reusable Component. Okay. If you don't have a template, you won't have this. You won't have this on your part in your Assembly Navigator. And so what that does is that opens up our dialog that we just created. And hopefully, if I key in a 4A, look at that. Okay. And if I change this to a 0.5, and look at that. My diameter changed here, my chamfer changed, and let's see, if I go into rendering style and go to static wireframe, and now if I change that back to 0.75, okay, there the depth of my hole even changed, okay. So I mean, now I can make the changes that I want very quickly, very easily, save this off as a part file, a part number, you know, as a separate tool, and just very quickly from here on out start creating a whole series of different type tapers or different size tapers that going back to last week's example, I can now very quickly and easily start creating whole families of tool holders and different size parts. You can put this in your product or in your reuse library. Okay. Here I've got my Cat 50. I've got this part. You know, I cheated a little bit. I put this part in here earlier to show you, but I also have the HSK. Okay, so I can open this up, and now I have an HSK holder. And you notice that when I open it up, the holder or that part file, my user interface pops up immediately, and so. Again, very quickly, very easily, you can start creating these tools. So in this case, I think the little bit of upfront work or the juice that I put into my model is worth the squeeze on the other end, because now I've got just two options here to change, and I've got a completely different tool. So with that, that kind of concludes my presentation of Product Template Studio. I think I'm running a little bit, and I'm doing all right on time. So let me get back to my presentation. And like anything, okay, we can't emphasize, I mean, it's just like this, nice, it's nice and simple, but it's not something that's somewhat intuitive. So it takes a little bit of training. So as usual, we can't really emphasize enough the importance of training to get the most out of today's technology. It's well documented that training helps improve the speed of use, increases the efficiency, provides faster problem resolution, leads to fewer support calls, and all of that positively affect your company productivity and your return on your investment and the bottom line. At CamLogic, we offer a wide variety of hands-on, instruction-intensive courses for users at every level. Training is available at the on-site location of your choice or at one of our training labs located throughout the Midwest. For more information or to register, please visit our website. Today's webinar can be found on YouTube, usually within 24 hours of the broadcast. Check out CamLogic on YouTube for past webinars as well. And thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me or call me at any time. Be sure to visit our website at www.camlogic.com. We can also be found on LinkedIn, Blogger, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And our new help desk number is 855-955-0900. That concludes today's edition of Tech Tuesday. Thanks again for tuning in and have a great day.